Hello, good morning or good evening whenever you watch this video. I'm home today. I took a sick day. Not feeling great, but can't just sit and do nothing either. So I've been working on editing the video for this book that I made. It was over 10 hours of footage. A lot longer than that to make it because I didn't record everything. I have it edited down to, I don't remember, an hour or more than an hour, but less than 2 hours for sure. And I just wanted to start the video just by kind of showing you what it is, and then I'll show you how to make it in my video. So I wanted a way to store the pressed flowers I've been using in something other than in this thing, which you can see they just start to break and fall apart, which is to be expected. Oh, that's cute. I'll keep that one. Also, the other issue was it was very humid, so they almost didn't stay pressed. So they would get kind of curved and whatever. So I decided I wanted a little book, and I didn't want to keep them in the books that I pressed them because that would be too many and I'd have to go searching through it, and they're not for display, they're to use in my art. So I figured a book that would keep them flat, but also so I could kind of see what I was looking at would do the trick. So I wanted to do pockets out of deli paper. I had to wait for 12 by 12 deli paper to come in because I had smaller pieces. You'll see in the video I took a while trying to figure out how I wanted the folds, the pockets to look. I mean, it was all just kind of figuring out what to do. So I didn't really know what I was doing as I started it. So this is the front. I did some collage, and I ended up adding flowers on top, some pressed flowers, and you'll see the color change. This was a brighter pink before I coated it with matte medium. Same thing with the inside, spine, back, inside, back cover. Okay, and then the signatures are each a piece of Bristol paper with deli paper pockets with cardstock inside, so I can kind of pull the flowers out as I need them. They have a little pocket inside, like a side pocket, and this has a tab, and I can pull that out. I can put something else on that side, and then on the other side of that there's another pocket, and I'll show you how I do that in the video. But each signature is one piece of Bristol paper with two pieces of deli paper stuck together on the bottom, and then the cards on the inside. And I had 12 of these, so I'll just do a quick little flip through. I'm not gonna open these up. I've put a lot of my leaves in here, into these spaces, and some of the bigger flowers. But I figured if I didn't have something like this in between, then the deli paper would start to get rounded and it wouldn't stay as flat. So, and I know, like, they're not gonna stay all like spread out. That's fine. This is not for display, this is for use. If I wanted these to be on display, I'd want something clear, and I would probably stick them down because I wouldn't be using them, but they're staying flatter than they did in here. It's a zinnia I tried pressing. Didn't come out too badly considering how big it was. Thick. If you can hear clippity cloppity, it's my dog running across the wooden floor. something I found in the garden, one of the weeds. It's really pretty though. Yep. This is the last page where I have anything in here. Yeah, these are all empty. So I end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 pockets in each signature. And that's the book. So keep watching and you'll see my process, and I'll talk a little bit about how I did it. And thanks for watching. Hope you like it. Okay, I'm finally going to try to do a voiceover on this video. It's been a while since I made the book, and I've just been putting off doing this. It took me long enough just to edit it, so yeah, I've been avoiding this. Underneath the piece of paper I'm working on is the 12 by 12 deli paper that I ended up ordering because I knew I wanted bigger pockets. That smaller sheet there was from what I already had, and I had kind of come up with a template, but I think I changed everything, and this next bit is just me trying to figure out how I want to fold it, what I want it to look like, dimensions, all that stuff. Cardstock under the deli paper where I was punching it because the deli paper would just tear with the circle punch without that thicker substrate underneath. That turquoise paper is just there just to make it easier to see. I realized that the deli paper on the white background was probably not that visible in terms of seeing the details of what I was doing. This is the one where I kind of finally figured it out. Those edges are folded in about 1/4 of an inch, and then I think I left about 1/4 of an inch at the top behind the front of the pocket, so on the back of the pocket, and it's basically just under 1/4 of an inch folded in, because side to side each, maybe just over 1/4 of an inch. Yeah, just over 1/4 of an inch, because it's just under 5.5 wide. And then they end up being, the signatures end up being, oh, just dropped the whole book. About 6 1/4 inches tall. Yeah, well, not the signatures, the folded deli paper. The signatures themselves with the Bristol board are 6.5 by 5.5, or 5.5 by 6.5. I can never remember, is it height by width or width by height? Anyway, 6.5 tall by 5.5 wide. And then I had cut off that tab because I didn't like seeing it come up over on the taller back. So now I'm using double-sided sticky tape. Varnishing it down with a bone folder. This got a little tricky trying to, because it's such a floppy paper, trying to keep it straight while I stuck it down. You can see it's not perfect, but I don't thrive for perfection. Strive for perfection. Oh my goodness. It's just the way it's been all year, or all school year. My brain just doesn't function. I can't think of words. Anyway. Here I am just trying to figure out if it'll hold the bigger pieces I have and the taller pieces, and if so, how much of it will stick out, and that kind of thing. But I think this works out for me. So there I had folded it in half and then tried sticking it down, but that's not what I ended up doing for the final pocket signatures. I stuck 2 of them together at the bottom instead of sticking one to itself. Hopefully you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth, because I'm not doing a great job explaining. So here is where I kind of took the measurements and tried to be a little bit more precise, though again, I don't strive for perfection. I got past that a while ago. It used to stop me from getting anything done, so let go of that whole idea. I'm using one of those dotting tools. They're like a nail art dotting tool, I think is what it was. Anyway, using that to emboss so I can fold easily. Emboss. Oh my god, why can't I think of the word I want? score. Sorry, that was probably painful for you to sit there and listen to me try and come up with the word I want to say. I used it to score my lines. Wow. There I am cutting off that back piece so that it doesn't stick up over the shorter front of the pocket there. I'm just kind of making sure my folds were somewhat even and line up. And I think this is probably the only time I try to be somewhat precise with that hole punch and then decide I don't care. It just, I think I eyeballed it for the rest. And as I'm looking through the book, yeah, I eyeballed it for the rest. There's some that are closer to the center of the book, some that are closer to the outside of the book. I don't care, it doesn't matter. I'm still happy with it. It must have gone over the edge just a little bit and I didn't want it to stick. So I'm trying to fold the double-sided tape back onto that little tab. Burnishing it down. I figured out that doing one at a time and then sticking it was easier than trying to stick both sides down with the tape removed. I still struggle with getting the double-sided tape stuck down and lined up and without things sticking where they're not supposed to be. I know some people have really good skills at this, not me. I also ran out of this size of tape. No, not this size, the small. I think I used a smaller tape on the bottom. And I ran out of that size, so I ended up having to cut down some of the stuff I just used into the smaller size. So I have a pile of the pockets to the left there. I'm not sure if that's all of them that I did or if I just took a break. But now I'm figuring out the inside pieces of the cardstock, what size I want those. And that looks about right. And this is where I figure out, I believe, that how I stick them together on the bottom. I put them together like that and then decided to stick them at the bottom. I was also trying to figure out a tab for the edges of the ones that are getting put into, whoops. I have no idea what I was just saying. My computer died. And yeah, so here's how exhausted my brain is right now. I'd had a warning that the battery was dying. Apparently went and did something about it, but don't remember doing that because when the computer just powered down, I went looking for my charging cord. Couldn't find it, came back sitting right next to my computer. So I went and got it before, put it next to my computer and never plugged it in. Anyway, so back a little bit, you could see that I used that thinner tape at the bottom. And here I am making these little mini folder tabs. I think they're a little mini file folder punch, but I wanted to use them as tabs because it's easier than just trying to cut out little perfect rectangles or something. And they're a little different from each because they're what a file folder would look like if it's folded, but I didn't mind that. I just made sure I alternated it so it was kind of even throughout the book. and I did not use the half circles. That just looked too weird to me. Once I figured out where, well, the whole template of it and where I was going to put those tabs and everything, doing 12 signatures worth of it got tedious. My computer just froze. It was tedious, but it was also like easier as I went. I got a system of how to line up all those tabs and do it quickly. And as I had said in my intro that I had recorded weeks ago now at this point, where I did the flip through of the book, I just forgot what I was saying. Oh my goodness. Oh, I had over 10 hours of video that I had recorded, and that's not even how long it took me. Yeah, that's what I was trying to remember. I'm sorry, my brain is not functional. But I'm gonna go with it, because otherwise this video is never gonna get uploaded, and it'll be so old I won't even bother with it anymore. I used an old Scrabble board for my cover, and it is awesome. It's like the perfect substrate for a cover. So I think I'm gonna keep my eyes out for some old board games to keep in my stash. So the way I ended up putting it together is two of those pockets that are attached at the bottom are one signature with a piece of Bristol board on the outside of it. So the first signature has the 2 upper tabs on it for those little pull-out cards, and then the second signature has the tabs in the lower position. So they're not in the same signature, but you know, I made sure I lined them up that way so it looks pretty uniform throughout the whole thing. And once I got those 4 lined up, I would just take I just put the double-sided sticky tape and use the originals as templates and where I placed them, and I would just kind of put it on top. Line it up and put it on top of the one that was already there, using it just kind of just as a template, just to line it up. So then I didn't have to, like right here, I was struggling with figuring out the positioning, but once I had it, I just used each one to place it on top of the newer one, if that makes sense. I don't even know if I showed that in here, so I'm trying to explain it. Yeah, it's been so long ago since I edited it. There you can see the 2 signatures with the Bristol board on the outside. So that's 2 out of 12, I believe. Yeah, 2 out of 12 there. So yeah, here, this is what I was trying to say. I just used that to line up the new tab. Good, I'm glad I showed it because I was not doing a good job explaining it with my words. And that made it go a lot faster, for sure. But it was a long project. Oh, I didn't show you the cover yet. I think that's, oh, right now. I was gonna say I split it into 2 different sections. So yeah, there's the Scrabble board. I'm trying to figure out how big I want it. Then I used my X-Acto knife with small cuts, like repeated cuts, to get through it. I tend to be heavy-handed doing this because I am impatient with things like that, but it's better if you're not heavy-handed, if you just do small cuts. Well, not small, like shallow cuts. using Tyvek. This is from the envelope that I'd saved. What did I see do that? Use Tyvek. And I liked it. Is it APG, Jamie? Oh, I can't remember. I always use my finger to smooth out my tacky glue so I don't end up with lumps. Again, precise measuring with the space in between the front and the back. Eyeballing it. Or not the front and the back, the front and the spine. I decided it was too loose, I think. I needed it a little closer. There we go. And this is where I made a big mistake too. Not so big I couldn't undo it, but so I ended up just removing that, I think. Did I end up pushing it down? No, I don't think I did. I think I just removed it. I can't remember if I ended up putting a piece later. I don't think I figured it out yet here, that I just needed to push it into the crease and let it glue down. I know I did that with a cover. I don't know if I put another piece of Tyvek there or not. Again, you can see I'm doing some perfect measuring there. Clearly not even spacing. I did end up putting Tyvek on the other side. I think this is a different day though, looking at the light. cutting a piece to actually attach the signatures to. I'm not binding them to the actual spine. I'm binding them to a piece that's going to attach to the spine. And I think I saw that in the same video. I got that idea from the same video where I got the Tyvek idea, which I don't want to misspeak, but I'm also not even sure when I saw it, but I think it was HPG Jamie. I think. So just had to cut it slightly smaller than the actual size of the spine so that it wouldn't block it from folding. Even though I know I didn't cut myself, I get so nervous watching this video with my thumb there. It's okay when the ruler's there blocking my thumb, but I feel like I'm gonna probably cut myself, and I know I didn't, but it still just makes me nervous seeing myself be so well, you know, part of it's that it's sped up like forever, so I'm not really cutting that fast. Oh my goodness. I hope I didn't show this whole part of me trying to figure out the math. Trying to make even spots for all the signatures. I know there was a lot of extra lines on there that shouldn't have been there when I started punching the holes. Oh good, we skipped it. I was doing a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, so I just did a hole in the center and then however many inches between. This part wasn't very fun, using the awl to punch through. It took me a while because that is some really thick chipboard. It's one of the backends to like a sketchbook, but it's like a heavy duty one, not just, it's one of the heavier ones that I have. Yeah. It's just an extra piece of paper that I used as a template. I just lined up on the bottom of the signatures of the page there. Wasn't happy with where that punch, it wasn't on the fold. Just trying to cover it up a little bit. And then I have to decorate that part before I sew anything in, so I started with some gesso, which meant I'd have to kind of redo my holes after again a little bit because they got filled in a bit, which I knew was going to happen. At least I could see where they were. I don't think I worried about the back, just the edges. Yeah, I'm just getting the gesso that's squeezed through the little holes, just kind of cleaning that out a little bit on the back. Getting the edges. And then I decided to do some collage on it. So I wanted it to have kind of a vintagey look about it, kind of vintagey botanical look. I had on my right there, there's a photocopy of an image from an old book. Someone had sent me a book page, and so I just made copies of it. I didn't want to use the original, not for this anyway, so I made copies, and I think I did it in a couple different sizes because I used it all over the front and the spine of that. I think I'm using my gel matte medium here. I'm trying to use that up. I thin it down sometimes with some water. It is so thick. I think that's what I was using. Normally I'd use my fluid matte medium, but I just wanted to use that up. Using some Tim Holtz tissue paper there. My favorite book pages, they're so brittle they just crack and they turn really golden, yellowy brown when wet. I like them. Just layering up until I'm happy. I also used some sewing paper, sewing pattern tissue paper to yellow the top and give it more of a vintagey feel. And it does wrinkle a little bit. I mean, you could probably get fewer wrinkles, and you definitely could get more wrinkles. But I do have some wrinkles because I wanted it to have that feel. And I also wanted some different colors there, so I did go back over, and I can't remember if I did another layer of sewing paper after to give some parts darker areas or not. I know I did it on the cover. I'm not sure if I did it on this because you can't even see most of this once the signatures are sewn in, but it'd be very obvious if I didn't cover it. I'm putting actual flowers in there. I don't know if those show up at all in between the pages. And I think I started doing this completely upside down, so it's a good thing you can't see most of it, because I think the way I punch the holes, one side has to be a top, one side has to be a bottom, because I'm never perfectly precise with that. So they all have to line up one way, and I think I did it upside down. So I end up, yeah, I started upside down, then I ended up switching it around when I realized, but it doesn't matter, you can't see most of it. Then I have to decorate the cover and then the inside of the cover. So I did the same process. You can see that my matte medium there is really thick, so I'm adding extra water. I don't know if you saw me spritz it, but I also then dipped my brush in some more water to thin it down. Going over the edges so I can fold them over some. It's a little hard with that yellow paper because it is so brittle that it breaks pretty easily. and just using that photocopied page, making sure I push it into the spine crack so that it still closes. Just gluing paper down makes me happy. It's so relaxing. Also, I mean, I showed this in it. I think I fast forwarded or sped it up a little bit more than other parts of the video, but I really like watching videos of people doing this. I find it relaxing. If you don't, you know, just fast forward it. It's not going to hurt my feelings too much. But I do. I like videos of people collaging. I don't know why. And I'm using some washi tape. I really like that tape. I don't remember where I got it though. May have been Funky Junkie Boutique. Is that what it's called? Using the vintage paper tape that I got on Etsy. I think that was Boston Bag Lady. Probably butchering everybody's names on here. Nope, I was right, Boston Bag Lady. At least with that one, that was an easy find to figure it out. boy, so I just finished doing a voiceover for the whole video, and the stupid program shut down on me and lost all the last bits from here on out of all the audio I did. So I'm gonna go back through, but I'm probably not gonna spend as much time as I previously did doing voiceover information. This video, it just needs to be over. And I know there's people who make videos who know exactly the issues I'm having. I've dealt with this. So, using pressed flowers that I pressed this past summer, just using my liquid matte medium so that it didn't tear. Well, I still think I tore some, but I know I tore some. But the gel medium even thinned down. I would have had an issue not having those fall to pieces once I glued them down. So in this part, you can see that the flower is really vibrant magenta. It does desaturate and darken, so it becomes more of a purple eventually. And you can kind of see while I'm binding the book and everything that, because the cover's dried at that point, you can already see where it started turning color. Right now, the flowers are magenta, and I wish it stayed that way, but it didn't. I'm still happy with it. I like the way it looks. But yeah. Okay, so here I'm gluing down the edges of the front over onto the inside cover before I do the collage, so that looks nice and neat. There were some spots where the paper didn't cover up the darkness on the edge, so I think it was on the right hand side over there. After I glue everything down, I went back in and took a couple pieces of paper and wrapped it around the edge and then covered it again with the sewing pattern paper to age it up. now I'm working on binding the book and getting the spine prepped for the binding. I was just sanding the edges to kind of smooth over all those little pieces of paper, and then I'm inking it down with some archival ink. I don't know what color, some brown. I just used some rubbing alcohol to remove some that was a little too dark or smeared in a spot I didn't want. That's what that quick flash of a little bottle was. Okay, so for the signatures, I used the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I just used a fairly thick sewing thread in like a natural color. I doubled it over. Normally when I'm sewing a signature, I just have one piece of the string go through, but I doubled it over for strength. And I went through the middle from the back of the spine up to the, or down to the bottom, back around and up through the top and back in through the middle. It doesn't matter if you go, once you do the middle, it doesn't matter if you go to the top or bottom next. But middle, I think it came out on me while I was working here. Middle, bottom, back around, all the way to the top. Back through the middle. And this didn't stay on screen very well, so I did keep another signature in, another, oh my goodness, I can't talk. I'm so frustrated that this deleted all on me. I did it again on the screen. I kept it in the video so that you could see it a little better. Yeah. Okay, so from the back into the middle of the signature, from the outside of it, from the inside down to the bottom, all the way to the back of the spine, then skipping up to the top, pull, back through to the center, and then when the strings on both ends of the string are on the outside, tying it around the string that went up the whole center. You could do it the opposite way, starting inside the signature if you want the edges of the string on the inside. Sometimes I like that look. For this, I didn't want that. And I actually lucked out and didn't have any tearing on the deli paper, which normally when I go to tighten the binding up, I tend to get a little aggressive and tear. And with the deli paper being so delicate, I'm surprised I didn't. It was also a lot easier to get all those signatures in. I thought they'd get in the way of each other. I think it's because there's no cover, so I wasn't worrying about that flapping in my way. And then I'm just inking up the edge before I attach the spine into the cover, just to give it a more of an aged feel, and also to kind of unify all the collage there, give it a look of one piece. And I don't go just around the edges, I also go into the folds near the spine and on the inside. it's time to glue the signatures in to the cover. Obviously I didn't bother collaging that part of the spine because it was just going to get covered up anyway. I use the tacky glue, and when I put the glue on the spine, I tried to avoid getting too much glue near the holes because I didn't want it to seep through. I did want it to keep the string knotted, but I didn't want it to go to the other side. And then I just clipped it in after I got it lined up the way I liked it, so that it would have some pressure on it while it stuck together. And tacky glue doesn't take too long to hold it. And that's pretty much it. After that, I just went through and started filling it up with all my pressed flowers and leaves and stuff. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too long. And please forgive me for all the verbal mess ups. I'm blaming it on being overtired, on having a terrible diet right now. Work's just been really stressful and hard, and yeah, the joys of being a teacher in a pandemic. It's so much fun. Not really, but I guess I'd rather be in the building than teaching remotely, so I'm just exhausted. That's really the only way to put it. I'm exhausted. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day.